Let's do it.
Do it.
We would like to bring on our esteemed guest, Mr. Andrew Eyster. Andrew, how we doing, boss?
We're doing good, man. We're just sitting here on the island of our apartment in beautiful Irmo, South Carolina, hometown of Colin Taylor. Just chilling.
I still promised you a home cooked meal at my parents' house that I need
either that or we can go on a Makino's date.
Oh, now you're just like spreading all the best kept secrets of Irmo over the course.
Yeah, we don't want everyone showing up there when we want to go.
No, yeah, I still laugh because my family doesn't like it as much as I do.
Oh my gosh, I love that place.
Michaela and I love it, and we took them there for like a birthday or something, and they were like, I don't know, like, and I'm like, what?
I mean, where else can you get good hibachi for like $10?
Yeah, yeah. Trust me, I've had that conversation. I'm like, you sure? Like, and they're like, yeah, we just don't know.
It was hard for us to or it's hard to kind of move away from hibachi house. That was one of the staples in Columbia.
There you go.
We found a good replacement.
I got you. Well, we appreciate you taking 10, 15 minutes to come and hang out and talk Gamecock baseball with us after spending a decade. Was it a decade?
It was close. It was about. Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on here.
Yeah, we appreciate you hopping on, and we know you know this team pretty well. You obviously on this team, last year's team with a bunch of guys who are making big impacts this year. What's it been like, first and foremost, sitting on the other side of the netting, and how much fun has it been to just kind of see these guys play the way they've been playing?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a ton of fun. You know, opening day was a little bittersweet, and you know, there's definitely times where I miss being out there and I wish I was, but I've definitely enjoyed being around here and getting to be in the stands for most of the home games, especially on the weekends. But you know, there is a certain amount of jealousy for how well these guys are playing right now, and you know, I would give a lot to have had the opportunity to play on this team, because it looks like they're having a ton of fun out there, and just the amount of success they're having. You know, it's really not something that I got to experience in my decade wearing the garnet and black, but I'm happy for these guys, man. They're having a ton of fun, and it's enjoyable for me to go out there and watch them.
You might have had to play left field with the way Petrie's been swinging it. You would have had to shift it somewhere else at this point.
If I was back for a 6th year, I'd probably prefer to DH.
Yeah, yeah. You get the golf. You know, you get the golf on the off days and all that.
Exactly. These legs are tired, man.
Yeah. A lot of these, yes, it's transfer portal heavy. You got your Caleb Dennings, all of the Gavin Cossases of the world, but Cole Messina, Talmadge LeCroy, or Leroy, as guys like to call him, Carson Horning to a degree. He's kind of a platoon guy right now, but a lot of these dudes that you were on the team with last year who struggled maybe as freshmen are playing huge roles. What's it been like? What did you see from them last year that you were like, okay, like these guys have a chance, and how nice has it been to see the Mooses, the LeCroys of the world playing as well as they're playing right now?
Yeah, it's been awesome, you know, especially for those two guys. You know, kind of going into the last year, they were kind of opposites coming into the fall. You know, Cole, you know, everyone knew was a big time prospect, and he really showed it in the fall. And you know, he really played his butt off in the fall. Really hit the ball well. And then, you know, he had his injury, had his elbow surgery, and you know, came back and really struggled. You know, I know he went through a lot mentally and just trying to get back to where he was. And I know that was a struggle for him last year. So to see him playing as good as he is really awesome. He's a great dude. And you know, I'm lucky enough to call him a friend, and seeing him the way he's been playing is really cool. And you know, Talmadge, he was, you know, you could tell in the fall, there was something there. But, you know, for a while, he just kind of looked, you know, he just looked like a high school guy, you know, who's coming into the SEC from, you know, playing at a small little high school in the middle of BFE, South Carolina. And you know, he just, you know, completely flipped the switch, and, you know, was a was a really nice contributor last year for us. And to see how he's continued to improve has been really cool too. I mean, he's playing pretty much a lights out third base and getting a bunch of hits as well, hitting for a little bit of power and just getting on base. And I mean, he's just kind of a dirtbag. You put him wherever you need him, and he's gonna play solid defense and put together some good at bats. So it's been really cool seeing those two guys. And then obviously Carson, he had some big moments for us last year, and there's other guys too, man. We could talk about a bunch of guys, but those two guys in particular, it's been cool seeing them this year.
Yo, what you got for a guy?
I love it. Ice. So kind of asking about, a slump, really. We've seen a couple guys on this team that have been slumping. They've been in and out of a slump here or there. Stone, Caleb Denny in particular. How would you go about busting a slump when you're hitting? And what were some ways you kind of bring yourself mentally to kind of get out of it? And what are you looking to see from some of these guys that are, slumping right now?
Yeah, I mean, well, for Evan, I was awesome seeing him hit a couple home runs the other day, having never have hit one in college before. And
another Irmo kid. Go Fox.
Yeah, another Irmo kid.
Another Irmo kid, yeah.
But seeing him hit two in one game, that was incredible. So I know he was happy. I know his parents were happy. His whole family, I'm sure, was there. So that was really cool. So I'm hoping for him that'll kind of be a turnaround and he'll start playing like we all know he can. But I mean, just for, when you're struggling, kind of the instinctual thing to do is to try to change. Well, I'm struggling and I'm doing this. I'm struggling. Let's try something different. And your mind wants you to do that, and everything in you is telling you to change. But you just got to stick with what's gotten you to this point. I mean, all those guys can play. That's why they're here. And so, it's baseball. You go through slumps, and some of it's just dumb luck at some points. So, I guess that would be my biggest piece of advice. And after all the years of playing, I definitely went through some slumps, but just keep doing what you're doing, and there's no need to change what got you to this point.
And I think the ultimate slump buster is me asking about you in a press conference, because I think I did that. I think I did that once with Brady. I asked, hey, like Brady, hadn't been hitting all that well in 21. I was like, do you sit him? Do you try to move him down in the order? What's the plan? And Kingston was like, nothing. We're gonna keep putting that guy at the leadoff spot. He's gonna get there for us. And
sure enough.
And I think that was that Kentucky series where he hit 700 and 3 bombs, and then I want to say I asked about you once. And
I remember you did. I don't remember when that was exactly.
I think it was before the Clemson series, that one where you had 2 walk-offs in 2 games.
That might have been it.
So I might have to ask about Denny this week and be like, do you just sit him for a game or 2 just to kind of get him that? So we'll see what
that kid's a hell of a ball player, man. I mean, he can. You saw what he's doing, in preseason and in the beginning of the season. Like, he can hit, man. It's just. It's so tough on you, especially, I think it's his senior year. I'm sure he's, looking forward to, going on to play pro ball. And I remember it's a lot of stress. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of stress that you put on yourself. And when you're going through a skid or going through a slump, it's tough to just go in there and play every day and not worry and not stress. I know that feeling. So, but he's a good ball player, so he'll find his way out of it.
I know you haven't gotten a chance to work with Monty Lee, and he comes in after you leave, but I don't think people are talking enough about the credit Chad Kaye got last year for just trying to, obviously you guys were really young outside of you, Wim, Seitler, and Belt. And he was actually really responsible for bringing a lot of the transfer guys in. Yeah. How much credit do you think a guy like Coach Kaye deserves, and maybe leaving the cupboard a little bit better than what he inherited, and kind of the foundation he helped lay with guys like a Wimmer, guys like the sophomores that we talked about?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, he was a huge part of obviously last year, and and the successes that we had at some points, not overall as a season, but he's also responsible for a lot of the success that these guys are having this year as well. I mean, he was our hitting coach for a year, and it's tough to come into a brand new environment and brand new players, brand new people that you're not familiar with, and it usually takes more than a year to get accustomed to that. So, but yeah, you definitely got to give him some credit, especially for what these guys are doing this year, because a lot of these guys are people that he was their first hitting coach in college. So, yeah, I mean, what it seems like what he's brought to the team is really great, culturally and offensively. But definitely, I think some credit goes out to Coach Kai as well.
Still didn't lead the league in delayed steals, though, did you?
No, I don't think me and stolen bases are ever going to be mentioned in the same conversation.
I would see. Now I have to go look at it. Joe, ask your question. I'm going to look up Andrew's steals and stolen bases that he had over his career.
I don't know if delayed steals. I don't know if that's an official category.
We'll check stolen
bases.
bases.
I'll find it. Colin has so many freaking stats. It's ridiculous.
He does have the most random stats. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's in there.
It's ridiculous. He probably has it somewhere. But the boys are traveling to Mississippi State in your decade of playing here. What do you remember from playing at Mississippi State, and then what are you looking forward to seeing from the boys this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, that weekend at Mississippi State was probably the most electric baseball environment that I've ever played in front of. That was my sophomore year, so that was my first year at Carolina. We were on the brink of making or not making the SEC tournament. We lost first 2 games of the series. And then played a good game Sunday. I think did Brett start on Sunday?
Brett, yeah, that was that Saturday game with Brett. Yeah.
Yeah. Brett started. I know we had a few homers, had a good day offensively, and by winning that last game we made it to the SEC tournament. But I mean that year they had Jake Mangum, they had Tanner Allen,
some killers.
They had
That was an Omaha one. I think that was. They had that nasty reliever, that redheaded guy that threw sidearm. Yeah, I remember him.
Was it lead ball or something? That dude was gross.
That sounds about right.
The JT Gann throwing. I mean, that was a good team. So I mean, that was a super, super fun weekend. I played left that weekend, and I mean, the fans were rowdy, but they were cool though. They were super cool. They were they're giving me food. I had some pork tenderloin, some chicken, they actually gave me a brownie. They gave me a brownie too. And I remember I ate that brownie and I was like, maybe just in case. We're about getting ready to head the SEC tournament. You never know. If there's NCAA guys might ask you That was good. It was fine. It was fine. But I had a good weekend, so I think I had their respect, and so they were super cool to me. But that's the most fun place to play in college baseball, and I know
outside of Founders Park. Aside
from Founders Park.
Yeah, I wanted to save you a little bit.
Yes, I appreciate that. The most fun road environment in college baseball, but yeah, I don't know about this weekend. I know they're really struggling, so hopefully they can get a good crowd still, and those guys get to experience what it's like to play there, because it's really cool.
How do you mentioned the struggling part? Obviously, you guys pay attention to the standings and what a team's record is, and when you're going into a place knowing a team might not have a gaudy record or something like that, how do you stay focused and not go, oh, well, it's a team that's 14-11 or whatever Mississippi State's overall record is, 0-6 in the SEC. We should roll over them. Is it easier said than done at the end of the day?
Yeah, I mean, I think when it comes to SEC play, anything can happen, and we've experienced it, lots of times where, we might have been the extreme underdog, last year against Vanderbilt. I don't know if at that point many of us expected that to happen. And we've had our games, had our series where everyone was expecting us to win and we didn't. And it's especially in SEC play, there's you you can't go in with the mindset of, oh, this is an easy weekend, because a team like Mississippi State, although they're struggling, they're talented, and they have the ability to put up 10, 15 runs and shut you out at any time.
Right.
So it's for before conference play starts, especially when you're going to like third or fourth weekend, getting ready for SEC, it can be kind of like, oh, let's get this over with. But at this point, you definitely can't have that attitude, because they could just as easily, take 2 out of 3 or sweep you, as easily as you think that you'll do that to them. So
these dudes are on scholarship too, right?
Yeah, exactly. They've got a guy throwing 95 from both left and right.
Yeah. We joked. I think John Will and I joked at one point, like, at some point you just start him on Friday from the left side and then start him on Saturday from the right. Given how strapped that pitching staff's been.
I mean, everyone jokes about it, but like,
do it. He can throw 100 on one side and then 100 on another, and just get a day out. Jack, you got anything for Andrew before we let him go at some point soon and get back to living life?
Yeah, just wanted to ask you a few questions to start. With Will Sanders, obviously, he's back for his 3rd year, the Friday night guy once again. What are your thoughts on the way he's been pitching, and what's kind of his prep work like from, what you've seen, playing with him for 2 years?
Yeah, I mean, he's super high on preparation. I mean, he's definitely one of the hardest workers and that I've been around, and really takes baseball and pitching and what he does, very seriously, and with a he puts a lot of effort into it. And I don't think, I'm sure if you asked him right now, he would probably say that he's not happy with how he's thrown, and he's not pitched as well as he would anticipated up to this point. But like everyone's been saying, he took a lot of time off, and we're lucky that we've got lots of guys behind him, 2 other really good weekend starters, and a great bullpen and a great offense. And so they've been there even when he has not been at his best. But we've all seen what that kid can do, and I just think you just got to give it a little time. We're 6-0 in SEC play up to this point. 23-2. 23-2 overall.
Yeah.
So it's things have worked out so far. But we all know what kind of player he is. We all know what kind of pitcher he is, and I just think you got to give it a little more time, and I think he'll get back to where we know that he should be and where he needs to be, and that we've seen him at before. But he's a good dude, good pitcher, and we just need to give it a little more time, in my opinion.
Weirdo in all the best ways.
Weirdo in all the best ways. That's a great way to put it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You got one more for him?
Yeah, just one more. And then just wanted to ask you a little bit about Matthew Becker and Cade Austin. Obviously, you played with them last year, and they were probably, some of the better guys you had on that pitching staff. What are those guys like to be around? And then just what are your thoughts on the way they've been, continuing to pitch at such a high level, now as sophomores? Yeah,
no, it's been great. Cade now, this is his 3rd year, but he didn't pitch his freshman year. So, this is kind of like his 2nd full year. And he's just, Cade's an awesome guy to be around, super funny. But just, he's probably, one of the few guys of last year who, when he went out, it was like, you knew he was going to do what he needed to do. He's a guy that you have a lot of trust in. And I know these guys feel the same way. Obviously one of the nastier changeups that you'll probably see around. Just a gross pitch, but he's just a competitor. He's just got a bulldog mentality. You can see the way he's up there on the mound, and that when he's on the mound, he's going to get the job done. Becker, it's been good to see him game this year. He had some really great moments last year, and then some not so great moments. But same thing with him. He's a competitor, and he wants the ball when given the opportunity, and just that was a pretty gutsy performance on, I guess it was Saturday. Was it Friday or was it?
It was that Saturday, game 3.
Saturday, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty gutsy performance, getting out of that first and third no out jam. And so, I mean, that's something that can build a lot of confidence for a guy like that. So that was great to see. But it's cool. It's cool for me, and I'm not one of them, but it's cool seeing, all these local kids contribute in such a big way. Guys who grew up Gamecock fans, grew up as kids going out to Founders Park and watching those national championship teams play, dreaming to be here one day. So I think it's really special seeing guys like them and Evan and Talmadge and Cole, just, the homegrown guys, playing a huge part for this team. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Eyster will get you out of here on that. Tell people what you're up to nowadays, and if they need some business from you, where they can find you. I'll let you get a shameless plug in if you want. If you want it, I'll let you get a shameless.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm in the group benefits business now, selling group health insurance. Work with companies who are in the market to provide their employees with health benefits, health insurance, supplemental benefits, that sort of thing. Exciting stuff. We're working in Irmo. Gibson and Associates is the company name. We got a bunch of Gamecock guys there. Got Bo Mobley, played back in 2000. Lee Grokevich, stud closer, back in late 90s, early 2000s. But yeah, if you guys you know anyone that needs some benefits for their company, hit me up.
There you go. Hey, I wanted to give you, if you were hopping on and giving us 15, 20 minutes of your time, I was going to let you get a shameless plug in on that.
I appreciate that.
Andrew, can't thank you enough, and we'll probably have you on at some point real soon because you killed it. Yeah,
perfect.
Absolutely.
Well, I look forward to it. I had a lot of fun. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
Appreciate
guys.
it.
Appreciate you both.
Yep.
Yeah.
See you guys. Thank you.
That was
That was
Andrew Eyster, electric as always.